Chapter 7, Cause and Effect. Polygen headquarters, Boston, Massachusetts, 3 years ago. Okay. We keep going back 3 years, so something significant happened. This is like right before Sarah and her... I always forget the dad's name or the husband's name, but I know it's Sarah. Sarah's the first one, right? Okay, anyway. So here we are with Lisa. The Honolulu Foreign Affairs Office is just trying to sweeten the deal. They want our research facility. It means skilled jobs, and more importantly, tax revenue. I hope so. Selecting a new site would set us back years. Trust me, by this time next week, the deal will be a matter of public record. Sorry I can't get more excited about it right now. All I can think about is getting home to James. James is his name. With Jay home for winter break, the whole family's back together. Almost. Except for Alex. I'll hold down the fort here. You run home and remind James why he married you. Men love it when you add some ho-ho-ho to their silent nights. I even picked up a naughty little something-something that you can surprise them with. Alright, how close are they that she can do something like that? That actually saves me a stop. How'd I ever get by without you? You didn't. This place was a train wreck. Polygen was on the literal edge of bankruptcy. And here we go. First, there was instant coffee in the lounge, and Kenny G elevator music. Yes, the universal symptoms of a company about to fold. Then there were the Neanderthals in marketing and their shitty toilet aim. Ew, okay. Pissing on the drywall until it disintegrated, making the urinal straight up fall off the wall. Wow, okay, this was like a genetics company like that was in this bad a shape? Speaking of the primates in marketing, how is Michael these days? Oh, hell no. You can't just bring up Magic Mike Rowe while I'm bragging about accomplishments. God forbid I derailed a sad reminder that your scandalous paycheck buys us plumber dispatch. Hey, I'm a bargain at twice the price. Don't forget I hired Sophie. But you also hired Annette. Oof, that was cold. Yeah, that's on me. I got nothing. The two women share a warm laugh of easy friendship as the day winds to a close. Oh, I almost forgot. Chris is back, and he'd like a word with you. Oh, that's great news. Send him in. Does she know who Chris is yet? Has she seen him face to face? I mean, she knows who he is from back in the day, but I don't know if she knows that Chris is the Chris that they hired. You know what I mean? Anyway. Lisa smiles and steps out as Sarah begins shutting down her workstation. Dr. Campbell? Oh, she didn't. Look at this. Sarah stands in shock and stares numbly at the unexpected visitor in front of her desk. Well, she knows now. Chris Mendez. Christian Mendez. Jesus, okay. How could I have been so blind? It's a common name, and I did everything I could to avoid this floor. As Sarah's surprise wears off, she regains her wits to some degree. Why? Why Polygen? And why out yourself to me after... Relax, Dr. Campbell. I'm here to resign. I see. Yes, I think it'd be for the best. Christian looks conflicted for a moment before plunging ahead. I took this job as a favor to my uncle, whose law firm is representing Prizer Pharmaceuticals. I don't understand. Prizer believes your fertility program is based on research you took with you when you left. My assignment was to find evidence to support that. It's definitely not, but I suppose I'm not surprised. Why are you telling me this? Let's just say that working here has helped me find my conscience. I can't turn back the clock, but I can decide I don't want to be that guy anymore. Sarah looks at Christian pointedly for a moment as she weighs his words. Even in the middle of an emotional ambush, Sarah's clinical eye notices something odd. Christian? Chris, may I have a look at your hand? My hand? Why? Did you get those cuts here? I mean, working in the mailroom? Mostly, but it's really nothing to worry about. I can barely even feel them. Instantly all business, Sarah focuses her discerning gaze on his overall condition. Did you ever find it difficult to make a fist or feel numbness in your feet? Dr. Campbell, You're skinny as a rail. Alright, I'm not pronouncing that because it's too close to something else and somebody's gonna take it out of context, okay? If you guys want to know what that is, look it up. It is real. But, you know, let's keep going. Do you feel thirsty all the time? Or need to urinate frequently? Diminished libido? Yeah, I guess. To which symptom? To all of them. Alright, what's going on? We'll need blood work to confirm it, but I think you're an untreated diabetic. Diabetes? There are too many symptoms to ignore. You should see a specialist right away. Stunned, Christian just stares at her in silence. It's important to stay positive. Type 2 is very treatable, sometimes with diet alone. I'll make an appointment. I've known deep down something was wrong with me for a long time. I just figured it was other shit taking its toll. This is why men have shorter lifespans. I'll have Lisa send you a list of endocrinologists I trust. It may sound weird, but I'm kind of relieved. At least now some things make sense. Thank you for everything. I'll just see myself out. Sarah deliberates a moment before stopping him. So you're just going to throw yourself on your sword and return to your uncle empty-handed? That was the plan. Look, I can't forgive what happened with Jay, but I also stand by my choice to look out for you. Your Hippocratic oath, huh? No, Christian. Just basic human decency. Sarah reaches into her desk and pulls out a flash drive. Give this to your uncle when you see him again. What's on it? Proprietary fertility program data that should convince prizers that our research is original. Hopefully it's convincing enough for them to call off their dogs. I get the feeling it won't be. The money they're dropping to bring you down feels personal. Well then, at least this way, you don't return empty-handed. And let's make your resignation effective after you get your treatment in order. It won't be cheap, and you'll want to be double insured. But why are you helping me after everything? The barest hint of a smile touches Sarah's lips for the first time since Lisa left. You're not the only person in this office who struggled with regret. Sometimes all it takes to reach our potential is for someone to give us a second chance. Sarah is a really, really good person. A lot of people wouldn't do what she did. It's too bad she's gone. All right, now I think we're back in present time, and we're at the Outrigger Resort and Spa. Okay, that's where Jay and Alex should be. Oh, hello. Housekeeping. You're jolted awake to the prospect of an otherwise empty room. Jay? Sitting up, you scan the room and quickly confirm you are indeed alone. Just a minute, please. Of course, sir. I'll be back in 15. 30? 20 minutes. Checkout was over half an hour ago, sir. Oh, shit. If the front desk wasn't trolling me, it sounds like I'm gonna need a pressure washer anyway. Yeah, he's gonna need a bigger tip. Thanks, man. I'll be out by then. Now, where the hell is Jay? We seemed like we were in a good place a couple hours ago. You quickly get dressed and run your fingers through your hair. Giving Jay's backpack a shake, you're disappointed to hear no telltale jingling of keys. Remembering Jay's penchant for practical jokes, you begin formulating backup plans. If she took the bike, I can always see if Kylie's available. She's like the Uber driver from before, and I'm pretty sure I've said her name differently every time I've mentioned it. Hearing the door open, you turn to find a roguish Jay regarding you playfully. Oh, he said that out loud. Okay, I thought he was just thinking it. Maybe Kylie's available for what? To take out an asshole sister who thought it'd be funny to leave me stranded out here in BFE? Look at it this way. If I keep you guessing, you'll never get bored. Please. I just have played Call of Duty until I was reported missing. Jay rolls her eyes dramatically. Tara's right. I'm in love with the man-child. About last night or don't bring it up? Good question. So let's see what about last night means. When I woke up and you're gone, I was afraid you're having buyer's remorse. If I didn't get buyer's remorse when I thought you shit my bed, I'm sure not getting it now. That's a very good point. That actually seems legit. Where did you go then? I told George I'd negotiate for that vacant lot behind the annex, didn't I? Yes. Boom, baby. Signed, sealed, and delivered. You got the lease signed in the 2 hours since the shower of ultimate suffering? Too soon. And you always underestimate my special abilities. I always thought you were a little out of place on the normie school bus. You expect Jay to fire back, but instead she just fidgets uncomfortably. I take the short bus over the bike in a heartbeat. My panties feel like a fucking cactus diaper. Wait, is Jay Campbell tapping out after just one night of gland-to-gland combat? Ew, and hell no. I just need a day or two and aloe. Lots of aloe. If you stop fapping to my journals, I'll even take it easy over the speed bumps. No promises. And potholes. Void potholes. All of them. I thought your exact words were, the sweet spot is 6th gear, mid-revs. I will cut you. So, back to the beach house then? To give George the good news? Nah, I've already sent him the docs. He wants us to meet him at the annex. Do you know something I don't? He called before I left City Hall. I guess Sophie's made some sort of breakthrough. Oh, well, let's go see what fresh hell they've cooked up for us today. All right, we're at the Polygene Annex an hour later. We've got Sophie here, we've got Amanda, we've got Mallory. Entering the conference room, you find Sophie already in conversation with Mallory and Amanda. Oh, more arrivals. Now we require George and Lisa. We came as soon as we got the message. Ooh, oh. Jay sits gingerly, wincing as she struggles to spare her chafed areas unnecessary pressure. Are you alright, dear? Did you get too much sun? Mallory narrows her eyes and smirks with amused suspicion. Mallory knows what's going on. She's known for a while. Nothing a spa visit won't fix. How about us girls get a mani-pedi with a bikini wax tonight? Jay's eyes betray her rising panic. I don't know. I'm pretty wiped out, you know, from last night. Mallory raises a playful eyebrow. George did say you had an important deal to seal. So, what's important enough to pull George and Lisa off case prep? We should wait for them to arrive before we begin. As if on cue, George and Lisa enter hurriedly, taking seats near the door. Good morning. We're a bit rushed, I'm afraid. We have a strategy session we cannot be late for. Just an executive summary for now, please, given our time constraints. Of course. I've invited Miss Chapman as well, as her perspective today will be uniquely applicable. Perspective into what? Sophie shoots an irritated glance. Oh, okay. After sequencing her genome, I can now reproduce a process that was used to create Miss to put it more delicately, I believe I have reverse engineered Project Crucible. There's a collective gasp from around the table as the weight of Dr. Allard's announcement sinks in. I see. Doctor, this is a 20-year-old research. Why hasn't it already been developed independently? And if we're here to monetize this, how much of a head start do we need on our competition? You notice Mallory looks crestfallen, almost shell-shocked. Monetize? Wait a minute. Have we even considered the ethical implications? Sophie seems pleased by Jay's question. A prudent concern, though Lisa's questions remain relevant for reasons that will be made apparent. You notice Amanda comforting Mallory, clearly aware that her friend is in distress. Amanda's not entirely oblivious to social cues after all. I do not believe there's much risk of being leapfrogged competitively until we go public. The science has moved in another direction, and gene therapy is where Big Pharma perceives profit. So, 5 years? 20? Left alone, perhaps decades. The science it's based on is widely viewed as a dead end. Though, once we announce this capability, then competition will catch up quickly. Alright. I wonder. So I would say, geez, there's a lot of possibilities, but anytime you're delving into scientific breakthroughs and whatnot, there's like this moral scale, and 100% guaranteed, anytime you do something for the greater good, you are going to cross a line. It's like inevitable. There's no way to not do it. You have to cross a line. So the question is, depending on your morality and maybe even your belief system, is are you willing to sacrifice your soul for what could could possibly be something that will save so many others? That's kind of the question you have to ask yourself when you're in these situations. So, me saying absolutely not would be closing a door to something that could alter countless lives in the future, right? And not necessarily alter them in a bad way, but alter them in a good way. So, do I, as the main character making these decisions, have the balls to risk my own soul, basically? I want to say imagine the possibilities, and I know some people in this room won't like it, but we're going to go with it. Imagine a world full of people with the best attributes. So, a lot of people won't want that, but then there's a lot of people who have disabilities and whatnot who would like to have that. Elaborate. Well, couldn't we take control of our own evolution as a species? If there is a God, he is found in the randomness at birth, an Einstein instead of a carrot top. So Mallory didn't like what I said. Yeah, what she said. Well, this certainly isn't what I expected to be discussing this morning. Well, like it or not, we can't just put this genie back in the bottle now. For the first time since the topic was open, Mallory gazes at Sophie intently. She's dropping Jurassic Park lines. Okay. All right, Goldblum, lay it on us. We were so preoccupied with whether or not we could, we didn't stop to ask ourselves if we should. I see what you did there. The tiniest of smiles plays at the corner of Mallory's mouth in response. Okay, so thank God she knew what she was doing, and it was kind of a humorous situation. I thought that she was going to try to play that off without batting an eye. Thank God. Indeed. And as a sole living product of this process, your perspective carries unique weight. My imperfections go way beyond my mismatched eyes. Gene sequencing has come a long way in 20 years. Errors could be eliminated. That's somehow worse. I can bear being what I am because a tiny part of me is still only me. The more I think about this, the smaller this decision makes me feel. This is your breakthrough, Sophie, and you're the only scientist here. What do you think? Clearly appreciating your deference to her opinion, Sophie pauses a moment. The scientist in me is giddy with the potential, but the pragmatist in me despairs. I do not believe this world is quite ready for this knowledge. In spite of our best intentions, it would only be a matter of time before it was weaponized. Amanda, modifying your genome reshaped your life. What do you think? My working hypothesis is that autism is a human brain attempting to evolve and failing. Natural selection is a long, painful process that biology has refined over the eons. I believe that our species currently lacks the altruism and the objectivity to responsibly plan its own evolution. I could not have said it better. Lisa fidgets uncomfortably, while George appears lost in thought. I'll admit, the more I hear, the more skeptical I am about this. Nodding affirmatively, George stands with an abrupt air of urgency. I agree, but we're out of time. We're already late for our meeting. So, no decision on this? Lisa gives you a thoughtful glance as she prepares to leave with George. That'll be for one or both of you to decide when the time comes. George and Lisa depart hurriedly, clearly anxious to make their other commitment. Hesitantly, Mallory breaks the silence. If the rest of you can stick around, I have something else to share. Yes, we've discovered how Devon manipulated the Pregnia test results. With absolute certainty? Yes, our conclusions were taken directly from Devon Campbell's handwritten notes. If they contain context and detail, that would amount to a confession, I suppose. It is likely that we can prove it empirically as well. How so? Mallory hesitates, the gravity of what she's about to say weighing on her. Clearly lacking the patience for a circular discussion, Sophie interjects. How are the results manipulated, and how can it be proven? Dr. Chapman's notes imply that he was implanting fertilized ova into test subjects to falsify results. But why would he put his reputation on the line to ensure the project he was partnered with Sarah Campbell on didn't get shut down? But that would have taken hundreds of IVF procedures performed with no oversight. It only took 3. That's far too few to have satisfied clinical trials. Research misconduct is simple to conceal if a company is unethical and sufficiently motivated. Also impossible to prove without raw data on the test subjects and on the sources of the ova. Mallory's discomfort is obvious, and she stares at the table forlornly. Dr. Campbell herself provided some of the ova, according to Dr. Chapman's notes. You feel a sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach as the dots begin to connect. Hold on a second. It's just that your sister is a bit more of a miracle than we thought. I remember her saying that. I've got goosebumps. Because I'm trying to connect the dots myself here, okay? You glance at your sister, whose horrified face betrays her own epiphany. 2 of her eggs resulted in miscarriage, but the 3rd was carried to term. Sophie listens intently, the implications eluding her for a moment. So, if we could identify that child or her mother, we could also prove your hypothesis. Mallory raises an eye from the table at last and looks desolately at Jay. We may have already. The pieces finally fall into place for the doctor, who regards Jay in abject shock. No. You lock eyes with Jay, who can only stare back at you helplessly. I can't. Jay? Standing unsteadily, Jay turns toward the door. I need some air. Even though she doesn't slam the door, the sound of it closing echoes with grim finality. Better give her some space. She'll have to come back for her phone. Ooh, this is not good. Nobody understands how she's feeling better than I do. I'll talk to her. We will continue to parse Devon's notes for anything we missed. As soon as Mallory and Amanda have left, you gaze uncertainly at Sophie. Something on your mind, Alex? No, I was just leaving. Sophie gives you an arched eyebrow of mild irritation. Well, I certainly have a lot to think about, if you'll excuse me.